Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the night of SummerSlam. SummerSlam has gone off the air less than a half an hour ago. Well, actually, it might be a little longer than half an hour ago. Who keeps track? Not us. Mouth of the Mark here, as always. We are joined by not one, not two, but three guests. Yeah, that's right. Where we fail to get one guest on a regular basis, we can pull in three at one time. Guys, I will leave the floor to you. We've got Kenneth Nixon from Fame and Haley. Wave, say hi.
Three.
You're
Yes.
real stable now.
The three Trace Amigos friends.
I can't do that.
And as you can see flashing on your screen, we have Brent and Johnny here. Guys, give a shout out.
God. Tree. What a tree.
And of course, I've got my usual guest here that is with me who helps me keep this show going every week and actually does all the legwork in terms of putting the show out. Daniel Wave, say hi. Do your dues.
Just the number one. Just the soul heel. Just the number one.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go.
Playing the heel. Here we go, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have guests in front of us. Daniel is going to run his mouth even more.
Oh, boy.
As always, would you expect anything less from me? Would you expect anything less from me?
That's true.
Oh, man. It's going to be great, guys, because a lot of bullshit happened tonight, and we've got a lot of shit to say about it.
Hey, before you start, Matthew, I just want to say, for all you listeners, if I look like some uninterested guest at some point, I love this podcast. I love both these dudes. I actually just have a fantasy football draft that happens to be going on at the same time. But sometimes you had to do what you had to do so you can have one of these things right here, So I love these dudes, and I'm honored to be on here. So if you see me looking off to the side, it's that.
You piece of shit. You just came on here to flash your trophy.
Hey, man. Draft John Cena, first round, baby.
Shameless plug, man. Just
God damn it. Next he's going to promote album sales.
There you go. All right, so what was it? So Orton Sheamus first, right?
Yep.
Orton Sheamus first. The match we've seen 275 times and could do with seeing 270 times less. So, I'll be honest, I hated the idea of this match. And, nah. All I have to say is nah. And it's no fault to either guy. They worked okay. This match just didn't click with me. So let's get things started here. And since he decided to put himself on blast by doing a fantasy draft, Nixon, you're up first, buddy. What do you think about this one?
I mean, I agree with you guys. This is definitely to a point at least, this is the probably match I was looking forward to the least on the card. And later on I might take this back. I don't know, man. I thought Sheamus, actually, who I'm not very high on usually, did an awesome job selling in that match, and I think usually that's one of my biggest things. Not only how stiff he works, but he usually doesn't put guys over. I feel their moveset at least as well. I mean, he had to win. I'm just glad we didn't get a Sheamus cash in tonight, honestly, because I thought that might be coming. I thought that might prelude to that, whether it was successful or not. I mean, it was probably my least favorite match on the card, but I didn't think it was terrible.
Would you grade it?
What do you? It's out of 10, yeah.
Whatever you want. I do numbers. Daniel does letters. We can do Roman numerals.
Letters would probably be best. X.
as in stamp it out, please.
A C minus maybe. I mean, again, if I'm not down on the anything in the match other than we're just fed up with that feud, but it's like, where's either guy going after this? Either one of those dudes.
Yep.
I get it now is like a typical reset of some sorts, but I mean, if that's the end of that, I'm cool with that. I thought that the RKO spot off Sheamus's launch off the ropes for whatever that move's called that he does.
No, the battering.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty. That was pretty slick. The DDT from the top rope. Sheamus kind of like it was pretty fluid right into that move, and that
Yeah.
something your foot could easily slip off that top turnbuckle. Sheamus did a good job of that. Both guys were on their A game. Honestly, if we're being honest here, I mean, what can they work a better match than that? Sheamus.
No, I mean that.
Sheamus didn't deliver a concussion to Orton, so anytime that's
Thank
the
God.
outcome of a match, you got to be happy about it to some degree.
Poor Sheamus.
Yeah, for sure. Brent and Johnny, we'll take you guys one at a time. Don't overload us here. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, so like, we've seen it 1,000 times, Orton, Sheamus, but yeah, they were on their A game tonight. There's a reason they've been around for a while because they can both work. I hate being that fan because I've kind of grown out of it, but it was kind of nice to see blood in the first match, like at SummerSlam. Like that was kind of like, oh, it kept the hype up for me. Oh, cool, Orton's got busted open, nice. And I kind of liked that it took the 2 brogue kicks to kind of get Orton down.
That was a cool finish.
Like the double tap from Adventure or Zombieland. What is it? The double tap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
This match was better than I thought it would be. I can't believe I'm going to give it a B-. I thought all the guys worked real well. My big beef, because I love to hate Sheamus. This new Sheamus, I love to hate him. He's great at his job. And I'm okay with Face Orton. I just think they look too much alike. They look like they're in a tag team together. I wish they'd would have got some different trunks. Like, I'm a big stickler on that kind of stuff. They just that was one of my big beefs. But overall, I like the spots of the match. Yeah, B- for me.
And let's bring it to the heel himself, Daniel.
I actually graded it pretty close to Nixon. I gave it a C- too, but I felt like I think we're all in agreement that it's not necessarily their fault. I just feel like they've done a really poor job building a 4-hour show. Like there was no actual story investment. Like I've completely forgotten why they're even pissed at each other at this point. Like why, like on the actual story side, are they even mad at each other anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What? Like, yeah, there's no story there. There's no investment. Like, it wasn't that the match was bad. If they had had a good gimmick leading up to this and had that exact same in-ring match, it could have been a 5-star match. But because no one cares about what's going on with them, that's why we gave them a C-. The work was fluid. I just did not care.
Yeah, I agree. Emotional investment is really what brought down this match, and lack of creative behind it, I think, made this match suffer more than it should have. So moving forward, we had the tag team fatal 4-way match, and I actually gave. Whoop! I saw a finger go up.
I just
What
wanted
up,
to piggyback off what Brent said. Like, since Sheamus has come back, I was the same way. I wanted him to be heel because he works better as a heel. Tonight was the first time since he's been back that I was like, that's the Sheamus that's supposed to be the heel. The way he was still putting the guy's moveset over, he just looked like he should as a heel tonight. And I'd be okay with that Sheamus eventually being the guy that cashes in Money in the Bank and wins the title if they're going to go that way with it.
Yeah. It just needs some time first. It needs time.
Yeah, there's no way it can be on Rollins. You can't have a heel Sheamus that you're building to beat a heel Rollins. That makes no sense.
Unless you're turning Rollins' face.
It's had it for a while too, so it's going to be a long time before we see Sheamus.
I agree.
Well, we'll get to the cash-in factor here in a bit because we'll get to the world title match soon. But next was the tag team fatal 4-way match. Guys, honestly, this match never really clicked with me. I actually gave this match a D. I didn't completely fail it, and wait, let me tell you why. In these matches where it's actually not even a fatal 4-way, it's just 2 guys in the ring with 8 people on the outside. Like it's just 6, but it's just hard for everybody to get their stuff in, man. And
Sure.
I mean, it's just it's so hard. And the Los Matadores bop, the botch coming off trying to go for the Tower of London spot. I mean, they had a great recovery for it, but Jesus Christ, that really kind of scared me there. I thought for sure it was just going to be a total fuck up, and they were just going to be like, abandon ship. I don't know, man. Like, some of it felt clunky. I popped for Big E doing the spear through the middle rope because he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it in every match because there was a while there where he was doing it every week and it got super stale. Well, he hasn't done it for a while, and and it was cool to see. I think the right team won tonight for sure. Just I think that it could have been executed better. And can we all just agree that that dance after the win was like the greatest thing I've seen on PG television? Like,
Yeah.
like Biggie is gonna make WWE change the rating of their shows for Christ's sake.
Because of all the jiggle.
Those titties.
Right.
The replay's on right now. We just saw it. Like, it took everything in me not to just die laughing. Like that, the Jay-Z song, like that was
Yes.
pure
Yeah,
entertainment.
it was great.
Yeah, the promo, like New Day saved this entire match, to be honest. And that's why I think they're the right team that won, because
Hot tag.
I mean, they're the hottest tag team right now, like period. I mean, for me, I mean they're the hottest tag team on the main roster.
Without a doubt.
So
Yeah.
so let's throw it over to Daniel. Let's get the heel shit out of the way. Daniel, mark it up.
Actually, dude, I'm gonna flip the script, dude. I gave this match a B. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like I mean there were some clunky spots. That Matador spot was clunky, but I almost like, the fact that they botched it and the partner like just took the spot right over was almost better to me than the original spot they had planned. You know what I mean?
Cool,
Like,
though.
yeah, I mean it was like, to me that was like, man, that guy thought on his feet. That was a prime moment. Like that, he might get an extra grand for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that was pretty cool. I mean the only thing that I thought was really bad was Sin Cara. I thought he was absolutely
As
terrible.
always, man.
He was so funky tonight.
Yes.
I mean, Kalisto was actually it's like almost rubbing off on him. Like Kalisto, the past 2 or 3 times I've seen him, he's kind of not necessarily missed anything, but looked like, oh god, he's almost missed it. You know what I mean? Like,
He doesn't look
I don't
as
know, but
smooth
I mean, I
as
love
he
the
was in
finish.
NXT.
I love, dude, New Day is. I'm a huge fan. Love everything that they're doing now. That they've kind of embraced this like funny heel gimmick. It's great. Yeah, I give the match a B.
Nixon, what you think, bud?
B minus on the account that it was a bit of a spot fest, and there were a couple botches that kind of brought down that. I think it would have been better, honestly, if it was just primetime players and New Day. I'm a mark for Titus, man. He's one of those guys that I think he's probably the way that Brent feels about Ryback. That's Titus for me.
Feel it, man.
The charisma is there with that dude. The hot tag works every time. Tonight was the best probably that it's ever been for him. And yeah, I mean I will say that he was the one involved in that where Kalisto jumped up there and finished that move. That was Titus involved with that, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of bewildered. So that was one thing I'll say. Like he definitely didn't think on his feet. Like dude came up for the save. So that's one thing for Titus that brought him down tonight. But yeah, I mean, New Day, it's kind of hard to keep those guys heels. I mean, they're not really heels right now, but I guess we live in the tweener times anyway, where with the face or heel, which sucks sometimes. But I mean, everyone loves those dudes.
Yeah, they were, they do the New Day sucks chant, but as soon as they won, when they busted out that dance, like they were just going New Day, like they were cheering the shit out of them. And it's funny because they tried so hard to get these guys over as faces, and then they turn them heel, and now they're kind of faces. Like it's like
have something like who's chasing them now? Primetime still, because that's going to get old.
I would assume.
Fast. And what's going on with the Ascension?
I mean, I would assume that's where they're going.
I'm an Ascension fan. I'll say it. I don't care.
I mean, those dudes have proven to be still not ready for that, but you can't bring them up and then just abandon ship like they've done already with those dudes. They ruined them with the LOD shit. That like after the Legion of Doom stuff, it's like, what are you planning on doing with these guys now?
The Ascension to me though, sorry, this is a case of like everybody always loving anything that comes from NXT. It's like if it came from NXT, it's gonna be great. It got over to NXT, it's gonna be great. Like Adam Rose, everybody's like, oh yeah, that's gonna be great, and it sucked. It was terrible because it doesn't work on a large scale.
Awesome.
Like, it doesn't work when you have like. It doesn't work when you have the same crowd every time, and then all of a sudden you put them out on the road, and then it's in much bigger crowds. Like the Ascension is just that gimmick is not going to work. It's not. It just doesn't. I mean, it's just not going to work. Not for those guys, at least. Like I don't think it was even that good in NXT. Honestly, I just felt like people got into it because everything was great in NXT, and the matches they had
I
were
disagree
good.
with that because there's a lot about NXT that I don't think is great. Sorry to talk about Takeover for a second here, but I don't think Joe's going as planned. At least on what I was expecting from him coming. So I'm not that guy that thinks everything that comes up from NXT is going to be awesome. I just think Ascension had a chance. There was something different, and WWE dropped the ball, and it's probably a case of them never recovering. What's that, Ryan?
A bruising tag team, they had a real throwback feel to them that I really enjoyed, and especially their NXT work. The whole face painting crap, I'm not a fan of. When they brought them up. Like that, just it hurt them real bad. But this match, this tag match from tonight, it's on right now, so I'm watching it. Can we talk about Xavier Woods slamming El Torito for a second, and how fucking awesome was that?
What a spot.
He's money. That kid is so good. Xavier, I was just watching him right now, just hollering at the crowd, blah, 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 whatever he's saying, like cheeseburgers and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That guy is oozing charisma. I'm an Xavier guy. I'm an Xavier.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I went B+ on the match, but I'm an optimist here, and I like the Matadors. I don't like their gimmick, but I think that's how everybody feels about them. They're good at what they do. It's just and Sin Cara.
You mean you don't like Puerto Rican bullfighters? Come on, who doesn't like Puerto Rican bullfighters?
It's silly. It's silly. But Sin Cara, that Sin Cara point, spot on, brother. Spot on. He sucked tonight. He was not on.
It's Hunakara.
Terrible, man. And he hasn't been on in a long time. I don't think he's been on since it was Mystico.
Yeah.
Hunico sucks. He's always sucked. I mean, go back and look at his SmackDown stuff when he was up.
With
He's
Camacho?
terrible. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Kofi's shoes were pretty cool tonight.
Oh, yeah, with the golden
Kofi had
ring.
some fly-ass shoes on.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Kofi celebrating on the mat. That was awesome.
So good, man. They're great. I love New Day. It's
Really
one of my
good. It was
favorites.
really good.
So after that match, we had Ziggler versus Rusev, and you know what? I enjoyed the work. The work was great in this match. If I was judging this just on work alone, this would be an A match or like a high B. But the booking behind it, holy shit! Am I the only one here who is completely disgusted with the idea that they're gonna do it again because of a double count out?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It'll be.
this should be done. To me, you should have just either given Rusev the win or given Ziggler the win, and have Rusev go do his own thing, and then push Ziggler to the moon. I mean, but that's just us as fans wanting to, have Ziggler way high up in the main card.
That's you as fans, I think.
Hey, I love Ziggy too. I'm a Ziggy guy. I love Ziggy. I love Rusev, but I like the double count out because it can continue. I don't know what those guys do without each other right now. I'm all for strapping the rocket to Ziggy. Vader's. I don't think they're going to do it.
No, they've blown that rocket up a few times, but I think they should do it, and I don't think he would have re-signed if he didn't get it. You know what I mean? Because he could go, because Ziggler could leave. He could go to.
They spent weeks in negotiation. It wasn't that he was waiting to sign for no reason. They were actually negotiating his contract, dude. He has pushes and certain dates. It's weird. It's all fucked up. It was on Bleacher Report though.
I don't
about
believe
all the
that,
shit
man.
in his contract.
I don't believe that. He's not
I don't-
Lesnar.
I don't know.
He couldn't go to Japan and make money like everyone's saying because he wants to do his comedy and his acting and that shit too much. He wants to be in the States more.
So then he'd go to Ring of Honor and make money. He doesn't need
He's
Japan.
better than that, man. He's some
He'd
guys
carry Ring of Honor right now.
Yeah, but some guys are.
He could go to Global Force where they would pay him out the ass right now because they have so many affiliates, dude. I'm not saying he's Brock Lesnar. He gets a certain amount of dates. I'm not saying he's being treated like that. I'm saying he probably went in and said, I'm going to get X amount of TV time. I'm going to get a title shot. I'm going to have this program with this guy. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what he did. And I do think he's going to get a push to the moon. And I think the office is going to do everything they can to shut it down. But if it does stay over and if it works, he could get shot to the moon, man.
Because think of this. I mean, how good will it? Let's say Rollins keeps the title for a while. How good is Ziggler and Rollins going to be? We've
Amazing.
seen it before.
It's been-
It's amazing ring work.
Yeah.
I'll watch
Now-
it again.
Right. I mean, so let's stick to this here though for a minute, and we'll fanboy over Ziggler and dream of possibilities later. So Daniel, what'd you think of Rusev and Ziggler, bud?
Dude, I gave it the big fat goose egg, man. I gave it the F, and it wasn't the work. I failed it because it was a it was a bullshit finish. And the spots looked like they were recycled spots. It was a Raw match, dude. Tonight it was a Raw match. At best, a Raw match. I failed it totally. I mean,
It was a
Lana
Raw
looked
match?
wicked hot as hell in the denim power suit, but other than that,
So stupid.
It was a Raw match, but you know what though? It would have been a really good Raw match. Like the work was good. It's just the booking behind it was stupid.
But the
but the work wasn't anything other than what I would see them do on Raw if they had 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. I get
I'm a
that.
fan of the finish. It protects both guys. They both still look good coming out of that. Like it doesn't. I'm afraid for Rusev because
They both still look like curtain jerkers, man. They both
I was
still
gonna
look
say,
like
I
they're
think it hurts them
the
both.
angle on TV right now. That's what it looks like.
neither of them had to take a loss. And they both still look good in that match. That's why
But no,
in the universe.
the problem is that they stay here.
Countouts.
They stay here. Like you stay here, you do a double count out, and they don't stay. They both go down because now they've got to do it again. Like it. I don't know. I just don't like it. Johnny, please talk some sense into this guy. Like, come on, help me out here.
I'm kind of on the same page though. Like,
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, go home then. Nixon, help me out here.
I mean, I told you guys that I'd probably regret saying that the Orton Sheamus match was my least favorite match. This was definitely the least favorite just because the work was there. You always know what you're getting with Rollins. You always know what you're getting with Rusev. I love Rusev to the moon, just like you guys
Botch.
do.
It's not wrong.
But I think, for one, I think Ziggler not getting the win against Rusev in his first match with him is kind of proof that he didn't sign some contract where he's just going to get win after win, because I don't think it would have hurt Rusev because they're going to keep this going. I just hated the finish because it's setting up the intergender tag team match.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's because the women don't need to be in the match because it's I mean, those two aren't known to be great workers in the ring. Let's be real here. And I don't know. I mean, the whole Lana thing doesn't make sense. She's supposed to be celebrating her independence, yet now she's wrestling like Ziggler. How does that work?
Look at that. And we
What's
all
that?
know that her and Rusev are dating in real life anyway, so it makes me cringe every time I see them make out on TV. It's like,
It's crazy.
that's mean. Mean, man.
I ate that. I ate it up because I know that she's dating Rusev. That's why I love it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great.
Oh, you and Vince would both get off on it. Like, he just, it's so mean, man. Like, I feel so bad for the guy.
I gave it a D though.
Consolation prize, but, I mean, she's no Lana. Just saying, like, being real.
Yeah, and let's be clear here.
No,
Like,
no, not at all, man. Not at all.
but
Summer
let's
Rae
be clear.
Sure.
Lana hasn't worked a match before, and Summer Rae is not a good worker at all. And if anybody has been watching Raw lately, you know that camel clutch that Summer did was terrible. But that high kick that Lana did was pretty cool. Whatever.
Never showed on camera her foot coming anywhere near Summer Rae's head.
It was just her being safe. She gets the excuse because everybody thinks she's hot.
Fair enough. Hey,
So Neville and Arrow
Ziggler.
versus.
I'm with you guys on Ziggler, by the way. I love Ziggler. I don't want it to look like I don't appreciate the guy. I wish he would go more in the direction of being vocal, that he's been held back for as long, kind of like they did with Let Punk do. Ziggler needs to be that guy right now.
It's a damn good promo.
Yes, always on the
But I
app
think-
after.
But
Yeah.
I think that's the office's problem with Ziggler, is that they don't think that he can do a big promo like that, because promos have been Ziggler's lacking point
Not on
throughout
the
his
app.
career.
When they
Yeah.
were doing the commercial break shit on the app, Ziggler was always cutting money promos. So was Stardust. And that's why a lot of those two dudes started getting a lot more time.
Stardust, man. Arrow and Neville versus Stardust and Barrett. I thought I was really gonna hate this.
You
I
did.
actually enjoyed it from an entertainment standpoint, um, I you're gonna laugh at me, but I actually thought that Stephen Amell was gonna put in a little bit better work than what he did. Props to him for doing what he did, though, because I mean, I'd have looked like a fucking dumbass out there if it was me. So, I liked the match. Um, I was surprised. I thought they were probably going to do more than one, like maybe lead to an eventual Stardust Arrow singles match. So I actually thought that that Arrow and Neville were going to lose. But I liked the match. Overall I gave it a C plus, just because I guess I think I may have expected more than what I actually got out of it. So let's go, Nixon. You first, bud. What'd you think about this one?
This is one that my stream was being terrible during. I caught spots. I saw the Mel jump where he landed way too much ribs into the heads than everyone's saying. But it was awesome to see, you know, a TV star do something like that. I don't know if you guys saw the pic afterwards that he posted, but he's like all bruised up and scathed up from the ropes. So that's awesome, man. I mean, not a lot of dudes would do that. I'm just tired of seeing Barrett lose. You know, I'm tired of all these dudes in this match being stuck in mid-card hell. The work for what I saw was good. I mean, so I can't, you know, I feel like I'm being unfair giving it a grade at all, I guess, because of how little I got to see. I'll catch it later, I'm sure. I love Cody. I love Neville. I'm a huge Barrett mark. So, yeah, it was one of those where I got what I was expecting. I thought Amel would bring something to the table with athleticism stuff because he was all about how much he was training and shit for this for months when the stuff with Cody's dad, with Dusty, happened and it got put on hold. So, I mean, it was cool. Everything I saw about it was cool. I didn't hate it.
Yeah. Brent, how about you, bud?
Well, I'm an Arrow fan, so going into this, I was pretty stoked. I get made fun of a lot for it, but I like the teenager in me. Like, I love superhero shit, so I love that show. And I knew he was going to do well, like, for his athleticism. It was what I thought it was going to be. I wish he would have had a little more of a grander entrance. I was a little let down by the Stephen Amell entrance.
Yeah.
I wanted something a little more theatrical.
An Arrow entrance, not a Mel
He didn't get
entrance.
clearance for that, I don't think, because he wasn't. Which Cole called him Green Arrow at one point, so I wonder if they're going to get in any trouble for that.
Oh,
The match was good though. Like, you know, it was an average match. Just because I grade high, I'll give it a B. I want to be nice about it. I don't know. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. Other than I love all those guys in that match too. I think we can all agree that, you know, Neville, Barrett, and Stardust does it for me. Like he needs to be written into the Arrow TV show.
Yeah.
Embrace the strange.
It's
Johnny, how about you, buddy?
so yeah, Stardust. That's it. Like, just Stardust is great. Now I'm glad that Barrett has found something that he can do that's not, you know, R-Truth or King What's Up. Now, you know, my love for R-Truth or whatever is a separate thing, and it's out of pity and out of just sheer oh man,
TNA.
yeah. But Stardust is great, and I'm into the Cosmic King, and I think like even the way that they present it with the comic book, you know, like the style or
That was amazing.
A+.
I love that package.
do a comic type TV show on the network for kids or whatever, and like fucking grown dudes like us would be watching it because it's like, oh, dude, Stardust,
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Daniel, we saved the best for last. Bring in the heeldom.
What did he give it?
I mean, I thought. I was actually on the other end. Like, I was expecting him to be better than he was. I didn't hate it though. Like, I didn't expect too much from him. I didn't expect him to come out there and be like, you know, Shawn Michaels or anything. But at the same time, I expected him to not like. There were a couple really bad like little bumps. Like, he took a kick to the gut and he like fell over on his side. And it was like, and you could tell Barrett was like kind of waiting for him to just be standing there like you should normally take a kick to the gut. And so he was like I don't know. But I mean, dude, honestly, the most disappointing thing to me was that he wore the vest, but he didn't wear anything else. And then he's like in gym shorts wrestling, and it's like, dude, I don't want to see Stephen Amell wrestle. I want to see the Green Arrow wrestle. Like, I'm an Arrow fan too, dude. I'm a huge superhero guy. Like, I'm all about it. So like, I love the show. I was super stoked. And when he first came out on Raw and like jumped the guardrail and hopped over the top rope, I was like, oh my God, he might actually be good. And I think that's what ramped us up. I think I was like, oh my God, maybe he will actually be good and like do some cool spots. And he did actually have that one cool spot with the duck down and the hip toss, and that looked good. And so I gave him props for that. I was surprised that they let him take the heat though. I totally assumed that he would just, he would take the hot tag. That way he could just start throwing fists and just get the crowd response, like. But
more respect
take
for the fact that he took a lot of the heat.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. It just, I mean, the Red Arrow always was great. I didn't like Barrett taking the pin. I don't know. It was okay. I gave it a C overall. So it was just kind of like yeah, that's nice. You know what I mean? It was that one of those feelings at the end of it, like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, I think we got grades from everybody except for Johnny. Johnny, what'd you give it, man?
Yeah, I'll go C+.
Okay. All right. C+.
Hey,
I think that catches everybody.
So did Barrett taking the pin though? Does that mean we're gonna get more Green Arrow, Cody Rhodes beyond this?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Because why wasn't Rhodes involved in that finish at all after all that build up all between?
Well, because Neville's the one that got the pin. So if it would have been Arrow that got the pin,
I feel like they maybe booked the finish that way to leave it open-ended, hoping that he would like really deliver. But I think after his actual in-ring performance, I highly doubt they're going to give him a singles match with Stardust. Dude.
Come on, David Arquette was a champion.
Trains till WrestleMania. If Amel can get some time to take some training, get some real like selling advice, and I think they could go out WrestleMania and put on.
Don't let Kendrick.
If they only give him the thing is with that though, you really need to limit their time. Like you really need to only give them like 10 minutes if you're going to give them a singles match.
Give them intros at WrestleMania, something big and grand, and then the match, like bada bing, bada boom.
I'm down. They have to do that.
I think they leave it open. But I hope they do it. I hope they do something kind of gimmicky, for Mania. Like let that be like the one big like star gimmick thing. Maybe cut out one of the guest performances at Mania for like this little 10-minute match. But at the same token though, like I want more for Cody at Mania. You know what I mean? Like on the other end of the coin, I really want something bigger for the Stardust character at Mania.
Dude, as a musician, I will say this: as far as like performers at WrestleMania, I hate it. I could do without never having a musical guest at a WrestleMania ever again.
Gun Kelly's supposed to be on SummerSlam.
Hold on, like outside like the Star Spangled Banner or something. Like in the middle of the show, when they always have like, who was it last year? Was it Sia or something like that?
Machine Gun Kelly's that guy.
No, hold on.
Hold on. Like why? Have any desire to say. Oh, even though he did take a power bomb, so I'll give him props for that.
I was gonna say I'll deal with musical guests if Kevin Owens power bombs every single one of them when they're done singing. That's it.
Okay. Agreed. That's a deal. I'll take that.
I agree with the music. I agree 100% with the music thing. As far as what you're saying about Rhodes, when you said that about I hope he has better things WrestleMania. You know what would be perfect if they took Stardust right now and involved him with something with Orton, because they could play off of him trying to get through to Cody, and he was his friend from. I know that
the
this
whole legacy thing. Like that'd be cool.
That's fantasy booking. I know. So I'm sorry.
That's
kind of cool.
That's like
I'm
actual
state of mind right now. So.
That's better than anything WWE Creative came up with all night tonight. So whatever.
That would be something I'd be okay with Orton. Like he's one of those.
With Orton as a face. Yeah, yes. It'd be something interesting to do. So let's jump into the next one though here. And I have one word for this next match here. Predictable. Can we talk about how predictable the Intercontinental title match was tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Yeah. It was predictable. I couldn't even grade this match. I knew what was happening literally going into it, and there was a minute, like a small smidgen, where I was like, "Oh, dude, they're gonna put it on Miz. Like they're gonna pull the trigger and they're gonna put it on Miz."
Same thing. Yeah, we thought the same thing at one point. We were all like,
and I thought they were gonna do it because like that was what I wanted, like out of any outcome. And then I was like, "Oh no, they're gonna put it on Big Show."
Yeah.
I just. I don't know, man. It was so predictable. I couldn't even grade it. So let's just go down the line. Johnny, we'll hit you first this time, bud. What'd you think of the Intercontinental Triple Threat?
I'd give it a D because I don't care really about anybody in that match, and I think it's just a wasted Intercontinental Championship like card. I feel like there's all these great guys that are sitting here doing all this other stupid stuff where you can have a card. I feel like Daniel Bryan should have ran and gave Ryback a knee and picked up the belt and be like, dude, I'm coming back for this. Screw you. Screw everybody here. This sucks. But there was a point in the match where I really thought the Big Show might walk away with that belt, and I was going to be okay with it.
You were gonna be okay with it?
Yeah, it's like if you start treating him like the giant that he portrays himself as, like this mean just beast, like let Brock Lesnar be like the beast, but let the giant be the giant. Come in there and just start just tossing people. Brett and I have this idea. It's like if you leave him alone and just let him come out like at WrestleManias and stuff, and let him be an attraction instead of fucking beat the Big Show on every Raw and every SmackDown. It's like, oh, there he is again. If you've been to a live event and seen him, the dude's big. It's like, oh, you're seeing something cool. But you see him on TV.
He should be Brock Lesnar. He should be.
Yeah.
He should be Brock Lesnar.
He wants to be.
Yeah.
He said it. He's like, I've been on TV too much. Like, I know this.
Everyone says it. He had overexposure. Like, that was his biggest problem. And I tell you what, seeing him at a house show is one thing. I've seen the dude walking down Bourbon Street, dude. Like, he's massive.
He's a big damn shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 5'11", and like I'm just like this big behemoth just is walking. I can like see him from a mile away, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, you know. But Brent, what'd you think of the match, man?
I grade on a curve, so I'm giving it a C, just because you know my feelings about Ryback, and I like The Miz. I think The Miz is a great mid-card heel. Like, he's not the best worker in the ring, but the guy's got charisma for days.
Great
big
promo.
What was that?
He's a great promo for sure.
Yeah, he's not the best.
Guaranteed every time.
But he doesn't have to be the best worker. Not everybody's got to be a freaking Cesaro or Daniel Bryan or Ziggler. Like, it's fine. He plays his role really well. I'm just hoping we can get into this later, but I'm hoping who does Ryback go for next? Who's the next person in line? I'm hoping I'm hoping Kevin Owens.
Oh.
I just want the prestige in that not United States, the Intercontinental title division, and there's no prestige in there right now. We need somebody.
You know what's next for Ryback? You know what's next for Ryback? I hope it's a fucking bus ticket to like.
It's gonna be Bullfit. Him like feed me more. Bullfit's gonna come up and be like, hey man, you need to take it easy.
No, it's gonna be KFC, dude. It's gonna be like KFC or Wendy's or something.
Brent, I'm with you on the prestige of the title needing to come back, but if you're gonna do that with somebody like Owens, you need somebody other than Ryback in that. Again, I'm with you on Ryback, but you need somebody that's gonna make somebody like Cena did with the U.S. title. You need somebody to do that with the Intercontinental title again.
Look with me then. Who do you got? Who's next in line?
Man, I mean, he's got to
do that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Barrett, I would hope. I would love to see him. That would, I mean,
just too many. He's already what 4, 5 time.
But wouldn't it make sense? Wasn't he like? Didn't something?
Didn't he win King of the Ring or something important, and then just fall off the face of the earth?
What was the point of that bullshit? If it was just throwaway.
The Intercontinental title is a curse for Barrett. Every time he gets it, he like destroys his shoulder or some bullshit. So keep him away.
The last time he got it is when he got fucked because of an injury to someone else, wasn't it? Not
That's
him.
what I'm saying.
No,
when Jack Swagger hurt him. The last time he hurt his shoulder was from Swagger throwing him into the barricade, if I remember right.
I don't know. This is the other one where the stream on my end was garbage, but I knew what we were getting with this match. I think one of the reasons why it was what we all expected too was probably had a lot to do with the fact that Ryback hasn't been back very long since the injury, so they didn't have much time really. I think there was a moment where they didn't know whether to keep the Big Show Miz thing going or not, and then because they didn't know about the injury extent, and then all of a sudden, okay, Ryback's going to be back sooner than we anticipated. Let's fire that back up for SummerSlam, and it was what it was. I mean, none of us expected this to be match of the night.
There was some cool little spots though, like the triple thready spots, like where like Miz kept going for the pin on the other guy. Like there was some decent stuff in there, but yeah.
Miz is the star in that feud to me.
Well, well, let's hold on. Don't get too deep into how awesome is Miz is making this, because I'm gonna swing it over to the guy who is all about the Miz here. Daniel, hit it.
You know, Michael Cole Schaefer.
Dude. All right, so I felt like the whole match wasn't even. This match would have been bad on Raw. This match was like the only thing that gave this any kind of credence is the fact that it was at SummerSlam. Like, and that's terrible when like the event is making the match. Like, it was so bad, man. This again, I cannot stress enough, dude. I'll never get tired of talking about how big of a piece of shit Ryback is to me. Like, I mean, and like I understand that he's over, dude. I get it. I get that people like him. I get that the IWC is actually kind of getting more towards them. But I'm not going to be swayed. Like, he's a roided up idiot. He always botches everything. He's had one good match in his entire career that I've ever seen. One good match with Bray Wyatt. That's it. The only time he's ever done anything good in his life ever.
That's correct.
He shouldn't be wrestling at a fairground in a ring. He should have a job at Hooters behind the grill or something. That guy is no business in the ring, and he's really gonna hurt somebody, dude. I'm telling you, mark my words. He's really, I'm talking like on a devastating level, draw style. He's gonna really hurt somebody, man.
He's not
I'm telling you, mark my words.
I'm more worried about Sheamus hurting people than Ryback.
Boom. And Swagger. Come on, get out of here.
I'm telling you, man.
I will say this though.
It's gonna happen.
I will say this.
Yeah.
And Nixon, you asked the question of like, well, you guys asked the question of like who would be able to give that prestige to the Intercontinental title. Kind of a plot twist here, but I mean, what if you turned Ryback heel at some point, and what if you threw Orton in, and what if you put the title on Orton and then let Orton work Owens and have that for the Intercontinental title?
I mean, that would bring legitimacy to the title. That'd be cool.
I don't know if the higher ups would do that to Orton though. I feel like they would be sinking him down a level if they did that.
Really?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think
they did it
Orton
to
would
Cena.
accept it because he,
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. I think Orton would accept it because he'd be like, hey, look what Cena did with the U.S. title.
Yes.
And honestly, dude, it revitalized everyone in Cena. He was so stale before he won the U.S. title, and I feel like this year has been one of his best years as far as in-ring work that he's ever had in his entire career.
The best.
Absolutely, it's been his best year.
I agree.
So that's just
I
an
agree.
idea, kind of to linger around there. And then if you do the thing with Cody, with Stardust and Randy, that could bring Cody back into the Intercontinental title picture. Cody was a great Intercontinental champion, so like that would be another thing to do. But just a food for thought here, guys. Wyatt's versus the remainder of the Shield was next. Well, can I just say that I was kind of disappointed that Ambrose and Reigns didn't come out to Shield music, which I know they're going to save that for whenever they bring all three back together.
Because they will.
Because they will. It will happen.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed from the off. I thought the win was kind of predictable. Just kind of food for thought. If I can remember correctly, this is the first time that like in a tag team like match at a pay-per-view, any members of the Shield have gone over on the Wyatts, because the Wyatts have always beaten the Shield, if I can remember right. They won on main event, they won at pay-per-views, they won on Raw whenever they did their 3-on-3. So I think this is actually the first tag match that the Shield guys have actually beaten the Wyatts. So food for thought there. Dude, it was a spot fest there for a minute. Like all the sequences outside the ring, like it was just bump after bump after bump, and I was like, holy shit. Reigns got his ass kicked, and then Ambrose just took a shit ton of punishment. It was pretty cool. From a fan standpoint, I actually gave the match a B. Like I liked it. There were some cool spots. I think the right team won there because they finally got a win. I don't know, Nixon, what you think, bud?
I gave it a B just because it has Bray in it. And Luke, and Luke, well, everyone involved in that, honestly. I'm not one of the ones that hates Reigns. Honestly, out of Reigns and Ambrose, and I love Moxley, man. Like, I'm a big Ambrose fan. It's getting kind of silly now with that dude.
That freaking clothesline.
You know I hate the clothesline, but it's just he should be Brian Pillman meets Stone Cold Steve Austin. And
exactly.
And instead they give him the little comic shit that's eventually going to kill that whole he's a wacko thing that they have going with him, unless they want him to be like a cartoon character, which it's WWE, they probably want that. That shit was what the hell was that? I would have
I'll
rather.
get the beers.
It's this is going to continue though, right? I mean, they can't. We've been saying this all night. It's like SummerSlam is usually supposed to be almost a bit of a reset, and we're going to have so much of this. And maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm just thinking that more than that's actually true. But we're going to have a lot of shit still continuing. I feel like, and it's like this. They're both everyone involved in this match deserves something. For 1 second, man. For 1 second, especially because they did this, I thought Ambrose was turning on Reigns at the end. When Reigns was there and about to get the win, I was like, Ambrose is about to turn. It looked like he was about to, like, his leg had entered the ring rope, I thought, but I think that was just me wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, figure something out with Bray fast too, because him losing every match, I understand you had to keep Reigns safe here, but I mean that dude is your next Undertaker. I think he has so much potential to be that phenom, and he does everything that they could possibly need out of the guy to make that happen. But he is, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. You three know how down I am about how they are criminally misusing Bray more than anyone else in that company. Still enjoyed the match. Enjoy all four dudes. Luke's the best big man in the company. I gave it a B.
Preach on.
Yeah, if you want to talk about two people who are on your side on the misuse of Bray Wyatt, Daniel and I have ranted a mini day about the misuse of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I think we're 5 for 5 here. I think.
Yeah. Unanimous.
Dude, and then you know what? One of the things that pisses me off most is you have dudes like oh shit, what's his face that wouldn't lose the weight when he was in NXT.
Cassius Ohno.
Yes, Ohno.
Chris Hero.
Ohno. And look at Bray, man. Look at Bray. Dude has lost so much weight in the last year. Dude, he's not a big dude. He's not a big wrestler anymore. When he first came in there, he was. He's doing everything that you're supposed to do to be the next guy. And Vince name dropped him in that podcast with Austin as one of the guys that he was high on. But they're going to fuck it up misusing him because smarks are already turning on him. Dirt sheets are already turning on him. It's going to end up, he's going to lose that credibility.
Yeah. Daniel, what'd you think of the tag match, bud?
If you went back and if you listen to our show, if you're watching this, then go back and watch our review for Money in the Bank. And when Wyatt hit, Reigns there, we were so stoked on the possibility of that angle because, me and you, I feel like, have been down with Reigns for a while. We haven't been hating on him. We've actually enjoyed most of his work, just didn't necessarily like his character and the direction they were giving him. But dude, I mean, I feel like they have look at where they started with the end of Money in the Bank and the hype they had for Wyatt and Reigns to where they've come now. I mean, it's you can see just the slow, sad, steady decline into obscurity for this entire angle, man. Nobody really seems to care, and it's sad when you have such huge names involved. That is 100% creative because we know all these guys are over and can get over even bigger than they are right now. So it's why the only explanation for this is poor creative or the fact that you're just not. It's how do you not find time on a 3-hour Raw to really give this an ample amount of time? It's I know they bid on Raw, but it's everything you do is the same every week. It's they're always one-offs and Luke Harper versus Ambrose tonight or Wyatt versus whatever, and it's it's terrible booking, it's terrible creative, man, and dude, I completely agree with how they're misusing Wyatt. I completely agree with everything on this, but I gave the match a C at best, and it wasn't because of the work, it was just because dude, this was my piss break. I was gonna wait till the end of the match, and I was they're not gonna do anything awesome. I'm gonna go pee. And it was just, it's sad that that's what it's come to because I genuinely do like every guy in there except for Ambrose. Really, I'm not really high on his ridiculous gimmick, but that's been said plenty of times.
Yeah,
Brent, what about you, bud?
I'm the C grade here for this match. It just didn't do it for me. We can all agree on Bray. I'm with you guys. He's got the coolest entrance out of anybody ever. Says he's that's a babyface entrance if I've ever seen one. You get the whole crowd interacting like that. You need to flip the guy. Harper, one of the best workers for sure. Here's where we get funny now because Ambrose, I like Ambrose. He just doesn't work in a PG WWE for me. It's not gonna. It's never gonna work, and it's gonna be this. He's hit his plateau in PG WWE. He's never gonna go above. Reigns, the guy has grown so much as of late, but it's one of those things where the company is pushing him. The fans are still fighting back. If y'all have noticed, like, how badly he was getting booed, and it sure seemed like Ambrose was getting really frustrated with the fact that their team was supposed to be the babyfaces. They were getting booed out of the building. Like, Ambrose was legitimately pissed. That's why I think part of the reason why we thought he was going to turn on Reigns, because he was so mad at the end. Just
So you thought that too?
yeah, oh yeah. We were saying, like, oh, could it happen? But even after the match, he just looked pissed off, and like, I'd be too, probably. I think Reigns should have been a heel. I think Reigns, I don't know how they would have done it if he would have been the authority guy, but I just feel like they trying to make him this big baby face has just backfired, and it's going to continue to backfire until he turns on the fans. Match a seed.
Johnny, how about you, buddy?
I mean, you guys have basically summed that all up. We can sit here and just pick away at it a whole bunch, but biggest thing to me is Roman. Like that, like he has gotten a lot better in the ring, and he's kind of but he just does some stupid shit sometimes, and just like. And some of the faces he makes and the actions that he does.
His character sucks. His character sucks.
Yes. Yeah, like
he wrestles like the Usos. I feel like a lot of this, like, ooh, like, which is kind of it works, but it's kind of like.
It doesn't work when you're dressed like an assassin, like you're on like a Navy SEALs team, doing like a damn warrior dance. It's weird. It's like he's so weird, man. But Brent, to your point, dude, if they turn Bray babyface and a heel with a heel Stardust, that like weird like blend there, that would be so awesome. But I agree with that totally.
But here's the problem. Like you could have Reigns do like the whole like Samoan thing, but you can't do both. He can't do the crazy Samoan stuff in seconds 1 through 5. And then 6 through 10, he does the Samoan badass walk. Like you can't do both.
Yeah. My favorite Roman was Shield Roman, where he was just quiet. He said like 3 lines and just kind of stared and was like, "Oh, I might not want to mess with this guy."
The very beginning when he first debuted. Yeah.
Roman Reigns needs to take a look at Baron Corbin and be the silent killer.
Yeah. Baron Corbin, dude, that's hilarious. You said that. I brought up today on a forum that I'm a member of how Corbin is quickly becoming, I think, what they want Reigns to have been, except the heel. He's adding more to the moveset quicker. He was one of the better. I mean, sorry, I don't want to keep going on with that.
I feel like that's what they're kind of doing with Corbin is he's pushing. He's like, I've got a collegiate, or not a collegiate. But he's like, I've got all this actual like athletic. Like I'm good at all these things, and you guys want to like boo me because I come in here and get my job done quick. Like I feel like.
But see, Reigns could have done that because Reigns played football too. Like they could have done that with Reigns, and even if they didn't even acknowledge the football, like if they just left him as a silent killer where he doesn't do long promos, like because they killed him when Vince was writing all those promos. And I mean, the let's tell the Big Show story, like Jimmy and the Beanstalk, whatever bullshit he did on Raw. That was terrible. But like I think. You can't mix and match. You have to do one or the other. But let's move on to the world title match because guys, it's 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock when this match started. Okay, we're at the halfway point for the pay-per-view, and your premier titles are on at the halfway mark. So first off, I already gave booking like a D because of how piss poor they planned this card. Because this match should have been second to last or last. Period. And it's not even so much a knock on Cena. This is a slap in the face to Rollins' title reign, dude. Like he is your world champ, and you're gonna put him on at the halfway mark like he's a fucking mid-card show?
It's like CM Punk's big beef. Remember when CM Punk was champ?
When Punk had the world title. When Punk had the world title and he went on at hour 1.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And my only other comments for this, I liked the in-ring work. I don't care about the spot fest that it was because it was great. The spots were smart. And I know some of the spots were recycled, but we're talking about a Cena match, so Cena's going to recycle some spots. Rollins doing the Phoenix Splash was kind of cool. So, he did it twice. He bailed one and then bit the dust on another. So, I just, I liked the match for what it was, But can we just talk about how fucking awful this Jon Stewart run-in was? Like, seriously, of all the people to do a run-in, Jon Stewart, of all people, really? And to turn, basically do like a heel turn? And John Cena is the one man right now that could have literally legitimized Seth Rollins with his title run because every finish has been dusty, you know, and you're going to keep giving it a dusty finish? Like, come on, you are just booking this man into a corner, and it's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Johnny, I keep ending with you, so I'm going to let you get first crack at this one, bud.
Sure.
Let it go.
Grade wise, I haven't really decided, but it's like with booking Seth into the corner. Like obviously, for this, if he was going to win both belts, which he did, you can't. Like he wasn't going to win clean. You know, like he can't just beat Cena 1, 2, 3. I win both belts. Something screwy was going to happen, but Stewart.
Yeah, because God forbid Cena can't take a loss.
He might be on Raw tomorrow, but like somebody's not going to be there next week or the week after to keep up. Like, oh, I'm mad because a celebrity like screwed me over. It's like, okay,
Right.
you know, like.
Yeah. Brent, how about you, bud?
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm with you guys with all this about the Stewart shit. I love Seth Rollins being in white. I thought that was great. We popped for that really big.
Notice that New Day, who
Agreed.
didn't have the belts and they had a new white and gold, and then Seth came out with his white and gold.
Oh.
So
And
White Rangers were a thing today.
they took a picture backstage too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just say my piece of this match. This is what I wanted to happen. There's no way it was ever going to happen, but I wanted Cena to join the Authority, and I wanted Rollins to turn babyface, and I wanted the Shield to get back together to go against John Cena and the Authority. Where John Cena doesn't have to change his character at all. He's just a company fucking man. Like he always does what he's told to. I see you shaking your head there, Daniel. You're shaking because you love it.
I
That's
love
what I
I
wanted.
know, but I would never allow myself to think that because I know
It would never
how
happen.
absolutely crazy fantasy.
Oh, I know. That's, sometimes don't you wish though that they would throw us these curveballs instead of giving us the predictable shit that we're given over and over and over again?
Oh, well, we wish that every day.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, though, like, I mean, like, I agree with you guys totally, dude. First of all, the White Ranger outfit was amazing. It looked great. I really, really dug that whole vibe. I thought the match itself was great, but like, you know, and dude, I hate the Jon Stewart finish. It was so bad too because of how long it took Cena to get up, and like, you know, it was just it was poorly timed. It didn't look good. And it's like, and I get, and you know, like I hate it, but now I get it now that like I've had time to let it sink in. It's like, well, Jon Stewart's really hot coming off of this, whatever. Like it's gonna sink in. Like he'll get a lot of mainstream coverage this way. The E will be on mainstream, and they might get some network things. So they're like, well, screw it, we'll just make a stupid decision to get some headlines. You know what I mean? Like which is exactly what they did. You know what I mean? Now I'm really interested to see if they actually put a statue up at the headquarters of Rollins now that he won the titles. Though that's gonna be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, overall, I would have given this match like a B+ to an A, and it got a C- because of the finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
The dusty finish, man. Nixon, what about you, bud?
I think you guys touched on basically how I feel about everything. I was a little more positive on the finish when it first happened, and then I started to think about it, and it's like, that shouldn't be your only heel move in a match. The only heel move in that entire match was Stewart coming out and turning, and it also sucked because Cena was slow getting up, so Stewart kind of gave away what he was about to do. I don't know if I'm sure you guys all caught that.
Yeah, as soon as he turned to face Rollins and didn't swing.
Well, then
I
he
was like,
turned and did he started to do that, put his hand on the end of it, like in Cena's direction, and then,
Yep.
ultimately turned
He
back.
gave it away pretty early because Cena was slow.
Um,
So,
I would still give it a B-, maybe. I mean, the work was great. I didn't hate the finish. I didn't love it. It would be cool if Stewart continues doing something with them beyond that. I mean, there has to be an explanation. It's all about where they go from there with that angle.
But see, that's my biggest gripe is you're treating SummerSlam as a WrestleMania-esque of the summer, but there's been no resolution to any single angle thus far in this entire card. Like every
authority
angle is
give,
moving forward.
Jon Stewart a late night talk show on the WWE Network. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. But what's up, Brent?
Two things about this match. Can we all agree that the springboard stunner needs to go away?
Dude, yes.
We've been saying that for months.
Never again. He should never do it again because he's not hit it clean ever, not one time, and it's the worst thing he does.
Bad.
He should have never done it to begin with.
Right.
It shouldn't have been done once, or maybe once, but not twice.
That and my other thing is, like, with this finish, I wonder what the management people think, because that crowd was cheering for Jon Stewart to chair shot to Cena and then Rollins to win. The crowd went nuts cheering. Like,
I mean,
they're not going to think anything different because it's what's been happening to Cena for the last 7 years.
yo, he wore white. All I'm saying is he came out. He said in his promo the other night that Cena was the villain. You know, he said that on that Raw promo.
You were the cancer, I am the cure. Yeah, he did all that.
That dude, I know that we all agree with Schaefer. I think was the first one that made this comparison. He is 100% Shawn Michaels. But he can have that face Michaels that they didn't capitalize off of as early as they could have with Rollins right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
It's bound to happen. He's babyface and waiting.
Yeah.
Well, but we're also in the era where it's the cool thing to cheer the heels, so you never know how management is going to take it.
True.
So
He won't go babyface until they give him the Triple H program, which will be great, and that's going to launch him into like superstar babyface.
yeah, the Triple H Seth Rollins program that's bound to happen is going to be the launch of babyface Seth Rollins.
And we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see the rebirth of the curb stomp.
Oh man, you know, like Jim Ross did some piece with Bleacher Report about SummerSlam. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but one of the guy asked Jim Ross, like, do you think there's anyone on the roster right now that has that mainstream appeal that like Hogan had, that Stone Cold and The Rock had? And Jim Ross said Seth Rollins, and he said, I think Seth Rollins has kind of already got it. And I had to think about it for a minute. I was like, that's kind of cool, and that's a good rub from JR to say that about Seth Rollins, that he's already kind of got that mainstream appeal, and he kind of does. Like,
How long ago was that?
it was over this weekend.
Oh, really?
we're also talking about Jim Ross, the same guy who in 1 minute will just put you over the moon, and then in the next minute he'll critique your match and tell you you're not selling enough. So, you know, take that for what it is, I guess. But It's still JR, you know. It's still JR.
Yeah, he's still deserves every bit of respect.
Yeah. So after that was the Divas tag team match, and I'm actually really surprised at how late this went on. Again, I think I can speak for all of us when we can say that the booking order for this card was screwy from the get-go. But I like the idea that Tamina took the pinfall for Team Bad. Your two better wrestlers in Naomi and Sasha didn't suffer. I'm pretty sure Sasha's pretty banged up after that match with Bayley last night. Because if you could tell, she only got a couple of like quick tags. Like she never stayed in long, and she had that one spot where she did the dive, the same dive that she almost died on last night. And I thought she died again tonight. I was like, oh God, Sasha, you're gonna kill yourself. But I was surprised that Paige, Charlotte, and Becky won. I thought, you know, I wanted them to win. But, you know, Daniel and I talked about it in our prediction show, and he kind of made a statement that I thought, you know, the Bellas have been putting over these two teams pretty well. By the time SummerSlam got here, we were pretty much on board with, we thought that the Bellas was going to be like a open and closed book. They were going to win this match, and they were just going to keep the angle going. So what'd you guys think, man? You know, PCB went over first in this first big match with all of them. Nixon, what'd you think of the tag match with the women?
Another one that the stream was pretty criminal. The
stream was criminal all night, dude. Like it was choppy all
night. I was texting Schaefer when when I was during the main event. I was like, dude, what just happened? What's live right now? Did he just kick out of another F5? And he's like, yeah, third one. So yeah, it was like that all night, and I did it on multiple devices. I mean, hopefully that's good news with the traffic they generated or something. But you know, I did notice when it seemed like Team Bad was out of there fairly quick.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the match ended up going total, but it seemed like almost immediately they were gone, and that's just kind of dirty to Sasha, who's, you know, the future of that division, or of the women's division. So yeah, I can't grade it because I respect, you know, too many of the participants in that match and what they're doing for women's wrestling right now. Too much to give it a grade based off of the Brie fucking drop kick that I saw from the top rope. That was just awful. You can just stop. I mean, cool, you're with Brian, but like, he's not rubbing off on your in-ring talent or your promo work. So yeah, I mean, hopefully it was cool. I think anyone in that arena and any wrestling fan that watched TakeOver last night saw that match, though, was just expecting to just be, nah. You know what I'm saying?
In comparison,
There's no way
absolutely.
to the takeover.
Yeah, and that sounds terrible. That sounds so sexist because it's like so many men wrestle all night and every night. We don't compare it on that. But you know what I mean? Like, where they're treating this as a revolution right now, they're not really treating it as a revolution when they're doing the shit they're doing, when it's more important to them to keep the Bella title reign going than it is to really treat this as a revolution right
Thank you,
now.
someone who agrees with me.
And the title's not on the line.
Yeah.
Like, instead, you put all of the women into one match. It's like, here, that's just an elimination, sure.
Yeah.
Let's just let them go for it. But let's take Nikki's title away.
I like that Becky got the pin there.
Yeah.
See, that surprised me. Like, I thought Charlotte was going to get it.
Same.
But maybe that's to throw us all off the scent that I think Charlotte's the one.
I think it was to give Becky a little. I think Becky's the least strongest of the.
No.
Yeah.
But,
Dude, I feel like that about
Those three that were brought up of Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. Becky's the weakest of the three.
dog. Charlotte's promo works pretty terrible.
Oh, they're all horrible.
all Charlotte's got to do is woo.
Yeah.
True. She's got that going for her, so maybe that'll be enough for them to take it there. I thought maybe that Becky tonight was, you know, maybe that has something to do with Paige, because I know her and Paige are old buds, and maybe she went to bat for her. But yeah, Paige. I don't know if you guys saw me talking about that on the Facebook group that we're all in that one time, but tough enough kind of ruined Paige for me right now. So I was happy to see Becky get the win.
I see Daniel over here with a look on his face where he's chomping at the bit to get into this. So Daniel, hit it, man.
I feel like we all agree that it was lackluster, and I don't think, I mean, this isn't just a sausage party where we're all talking about how terrible women are being sexist. Like, I mean, I just said that, like, you know, last night's main event was one of my match of the year candidate. Like, I mean, it's not that they're not capable of having amazing matches. It's that they're written into these terrible, clunky, like, matches, and it's like, you know, it's weird that you give the Divas 2 matches on Raw on a 3-hour show, but you can't give them 2 matches on SummerSlam, like on a 4-hour show. How does that work? Like, why didn't you have the Divas title be defended and then have, like, you know, a totally different tag team match? Like, that would have made so much more sense. Even if you put Bella over, even if you put Nikki over, that's fine. There should have been 2 matches to me. Like,
I wouldn't break up.
but I mean, overall, it felt like they were just going through the motions. Team Bad got eliminated way too early, but I think that Sasha was pretty banged up from the match the night before, and so that's why they were eliminated pretty early.
Dude,
and it's not like Tamina can hang, you know. So.
That reverse Hurricane Run spot hurt. Like,
Last night, oh my god, right? God, oh, the Super Karana, oh my god, insane.
That's the thing about this match tonight is it couldn't live up to. We all knew before the bell even rang that it could not live up to last night's match. Last night's match was treated like a men's wrestling match. Like, this was like a WWE Divas match.
Yeah.
throw them all together and just hope that something cool happens. Like,
Well, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is like it's this big match, and it's the same thing with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Title match. All of these people are in here, and it's so hard for everyone to get their stuff in. If you can have 2 Divas matches on a Raw, honestly, if you've got room on the card, you've got a 4-hour SummerSlam. Like I'd have been okay with putting like, all of them in different matches. Like have 3 matches. Have 3 Fatal 4-Ways. Have a title match, a singles match, a tag match. Like do something to where you've got more than just 9 women in a ring and they're forced to throw a hodgepodge match together because it's a odd fucking number to work with. Like it's just odd. And I don't mean it's odd because 9 is an odd number.
I don't know 9 great guy workers that could do that. You know what I mean?
I don't know any group of guys that could do that. I mean, we just proved that 8 guys couldn't put on a stellar match.
Right.
And that's without having to live up to the hype of a match that happened 24 hours ago. That is essentially a match of the year. There's so much hype right now, and it's hurting when you put these big matches together. If it was Survivor Series, okay, there's a reason. It's Survivor Series. But, I mean, it's just SummerSlam. And, again, this is another case in point where nothing is resolved. It's going to continue. It's a continuation.
What was the Stephanie thing? Stephanie said something about, like, to the victors will go the spoils of this match, and there was no follow-up from that. I mean, I'm guessing they'll say that.
It's going to be on Raw. It'll be an Easter egg on Raw, man. It's, maybe they'll do something where, like, the 3 members of the winning team get a title shot in a Fatal 4-Way match at Night of Champions or something like that.
A triple threat to determine the number 1 contender. I don't like the teams. I'm ready for the teams going to break up. Like,
I think they're gonna happen, man. They're actually going to get bigger. I think that they're actually. We talked about this already, but I think that they're going to put Sasha babyface and bring up Bailey, and then just have the other 2 of Team Bad go with Team Bella, so you'd have a 5-on-5. So it'd actually essentially be better because it's just 2 factions. You know what I mean? Like, so that could be cool. You essentially just have all the baby faces on one side and all the heels on the other side, so it's not so much as like this 3-team thing. But I agree that the 3-team thing totally sucks right now.
Y'all don't think that the Bellas are going to be gone soon? I get the feeling that.
You really?
No.
Yeah.
Where's that from? The Divas?
I get the feeling that they're on their way out. Like, it's just after this title reign, after she breaks the record. But yeah,
I thought they just re-signed. Like, didn't they just re-sign like a year ago?
Oh, yeah. Did they? I thought there was that whole okay, maybe I'm behind on the Divas stuff.
Well, now hold on. Do you watch Total Divas? Because I feel like you watch Total Divas because last season apparently I saw the commercials. They were teasing like the Bellas leaving after their contract was up, but it happened like before Mania. So like they've already re-signed.
Maybe that's what I did watch a lot. I got my girlfriend to watch like quite a bit of WWE programming through Total Divas the other day. So that might be what I'm thinking of. I might be.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, not that I watch Total Divas because I totally don't do that. But yeah, they've re-signed. To my knowledge, they re-signed. So they're not going anywhere. And they wouldn't have her beat AJ's record if she didn't re-sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but Cesaro and Owens was after this, and this is probably my match of the night. I enjoyed all the spots in this match. I don't think that Cesaro losing really makes him lose any steam because it was such a good match. Just because Cesaro connects, whether Vince likes to admit it or not, Cesaro connects with the crowd, and the guy is putting on killer performances. Owens, as always, is delivering in the ring. He delivers by, taunting the crowd. He's Daniel and I talked about this in our NXT review. He is the perfect heel that is getting underutilized and misused. He is the perfect heel. He is easily the number 2 guy to Seth Rollins. Like, he easily. And if he was given the proper light, Daniel won't agree with me because Daniel's so high on Seth Rollins, but I'm high on Kevin Owens. And I think given the proper light and given the proper push, kind of like Seth had, I think he could keep up with Seth Rollins in terms of star power. Maybe not in transcending the business, kind of like Austin, Rock, and these guys. Maybe not in that sense, but in terms of ability to connect with the crowd and just do all the right things as a heel, even the small things, like the little miniature things that make him so good. I think he'd really be up there with Rollins, kind of on an even playing field as a heel. I thought this match was great. I'm going to just call it my match of the night. No more maybe. I'm going to just call it my match of the night. Daniel, what'd you think, bud?
Yeah, I think it was match of the night too, for sure. I think that they, you know, I do think they misuse Owens. You know, like I said, like I do think that he is the best heel. I really think that they put this match on later to dispel all the rumors that are going around that the office is down on Owens. I think that they put this on later because of it. And it's funny to me how you watch these interviews and you like listen to these podcasts of like, you know, bigger guys like, you know, the Vince podcast and Triple H and all that, and they're all like, yeah, you know, people on the internet, they just talk and, you know, they don't know what they're talking about. But it's funny because I feel like they put this match on last because of the internet. It's like, dude, we change shit all the time. What are you talking about? We don't matter. Like, I mean, like, look at WrestleMania 30. You know what I mean? Like, to me, this match is a prime example. Like, this match being on right before Lesnar Taker is a prime example that, yes, the internet voice does matter. Like, it's not like, oh, we're just going to book what we want. Like, yeah, and then we all shut you down, and then you change things because we're shitting on it. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, this match is a prime example of it. I thought it was great. I love that Owens got the win. He definitely needed it after losing the ladder match last night and the whole, you know, Cena program. And I agree that because the match was so good, it didn't really hurt Cesaro. Overall, this was the best booked thing on the show to me. A+ for Cesaro Owens.
Nixon, you look like you're ready to say something, bud. What's up?
Oh, sorry, man. I just had 2 back-to-back picks, and it was like one of those things where I had to like search for people. I'm like having a heart attack here.
Roman Reigns, John Cena, pick them both.
I thought this was definitely match tonight as well. I prefer this match over Finn and Owens at Takeover. I mean, I'd probably give it an A. Everything I expected. We're talking about Ziggler being pushed to the moon. To me, Cesaro is that guy. I think they know right now that he's that guy. They have to figure out something. That being said, he hasn't won a singles pay-per-view match since like Elimination Chamber 2013, I think. So they've got to turn that around fast if they're going to. Match of the night, though, for sure.
Brent?
Yeah, we're all in agreement. Match tonight, A grade for me. The only thing, my disappointment with this match was the crowd. Like, I felt like for Owens Cesaro in Brooklyn, granted they're sitting through, you know, a 4-hour show, and after the Divas, they're cooled off a little bit. But I feel like the crowd let me down in that match. Like, for some of the cool moves that they were pulling out, like, the crowd just didn't have the air. That's why I wish this match would have went on first, and then throw Orton and Sheamus there at the end when the crowd's dead. You know, anyways, like, if we would have had that hot crowd at the get-go of the show, I feel like the match would have been. We'd be talking more about this match tomorrow or right now than we are. But the crowd just they were beat by then. They were ready for the main event to go home, which I kind of was too, to be honest.
Yeah, Johnny.
But great match.
Yeah, I mean, like with Cesaro, luckily he hasn't. I mean, he's been getting this little bit of a push, and he's been getting up there. So luckily this loss doesn't hurt him too much because he hasn't been on too much of a roll in the first place. And Owens did need to win.
Yes.
Like he's been getting shit on since that Cena loss, the first one, and it's been downhill from there. Although I did like this talk about this rumor of Owens possibly going back down to NXT because he utilized on the mid card, he can go and be a top star down in NXT. But I think he connects with a large audience. He's a douche. His character is just a fucking that fat bully kid who's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Stop trying to take my lunch money, man. Like,
he's so good at it, man, and he's so good. It's like, and my favorite thing about Owens about Owens is that like every time the crowd starts to get behind him, he'll do something to troll them to make them stop chanting for him. You know what I mean?
The NXT crowd is the John Cena of crowds. Like that was just like. Oh, that was a great moment.
So good, dude. And like last night was a great spot too. Like he had Finn against the ring, and he set the ladder up like he was gonna run up it, and then he just ran up and hit him. And he was like, you know, like just trolled the crowd so hard. Like it's great. And then you know with them doing the Olay chant, he like threw his shoulder. Like he always knows how to just make you hate him again, even when you start to like him. It's like that dude, to me, that's why they say when they say like, oh, it's like an excuse for guys like Triple H and Vince. They're all like, oh, it's you can't have a real heel now. It's impossible because people like heels and blah blah blah. It's like, no, dude, you just don't have any good heels right now. That's all it is. Like, he's a heel. Like, I'm a mark and I respect him. I think he's a great worker, but I hate the guy. You just have to like, that's what makes him a great heel. Like
he's got it. Miz has got it. To me, Sheamus has got it. But Owens, he's the top. He's top of those guys. Yeah, like
he's so good at the little things. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's so good at the little things that make him up on that higher level of a heel in this business. Like, he'll take the smallest thing that you give him and he'll just make you hate it. And you love his work because he's such a good worker, but you hate him because he's such an ass.
Oh yeah,
and like that's how you do it.
It pans over after he's in the ring. It pans over. Friggin' Owens is just chilling back in the chair with like a smug look on his face, like he's just bored out of his mind having to watch that. Just like, all right, I'll get up and wrestle this match now. Like, great.
Yeah, he gets it on another level than most people in that group.
Yeah.
He seems like the dude that if he wasn't wrestling, he'd be like in one of these windows trying to chat with us and be like, dude, you know what like really pisses me off?
Yeah, man. I between him and the Young Bucks, I feel like we'd have a stacked show. But so here's where the soapbox, I think, for all 5 of us is about to start, because the main event was Taker and Lesnar, and I have no problem with the match too big for WrestleMania being on as the main event. But what in the actual fuck? Like, that's all I can say. Like, okay, the match as a whole, I think the match was better than their WrestleMania 30 match.
Oh,
because I think Taker was moving around a lot better. I mean, he was still slow, but I mean, it's Taker. And look how old Taker is. He's taking Germans. He took a belly to belly. Like, he took some shit,
Three
But
F5s again.
he took 3 F5s. When he kicked out of the third, when he took the third F5, I was like, he's kicking out. There's no way he loses to a third F5 again. And oddly enough, he did. The submission angle, though, and the dusty finish here, like, what in the actual fuck? Because now it's like you're not avoiding a rubber match now. Impossible to avoid. And I hate every second of it. Like I don't want to see this again. I didn't want to see it a second time. But I settled for it because it wasn't at Mania. Now I've got to see it somewhere else. And I just hope I don't see it at Mania. Like, I hope it's at Night of Champions, just so we can be done with it. I hope it's at Survivor Series, so we can be done with it. Like, I just want to be done with it. Like, and I shouldn't feel that way, because it's Undertaker, and it's Brock Lesnar. Like, it's 2 of the biggest draws in the company.
Yeah.
But you slap them together with some duct tape, and like you expect it to go over like it's got helium in it, when actually you've got
I mean, it is over. It's just we're marks, man. We're looking at work, Like, I mean, it's not. It's a super over angle. It's just. I mean, it's just not. It's not very good. I mean, it's just I mean, the angle leading up to it, like that whole pull apart on Raw, like that was probably the best thing that they've done on Raw in a long time. I mean, that was a super cool little thing they did there. Like, it's just.
It was a throwback to the Attitude Era. Of course, it was good.
And this match did nothing to disprove that, like, oh, well, it was just a concussion with Taker, like, the first time. This match was so much better. Dude, it was just as bad. It was just as, I mean, Taker, their styles clashed so bad, like, and it wasn't fluid. We know with Taker can still have good matches because he just did with Wyatt. But it's just, there's just something weird about it, man. The way it works is, like, they both work each other's styles. Like, when Taker's on offense, Brock works like a normal wrestler, not like, Brock Lesnar. He works like a normal pro wrestler. He sells and all that stuff. Like, and then, when Brock's on the offense, like, Undertaker doesn't, Undertaker is acting like he's actually getting beat up, not like he's taking pro wrestling bumps. You know what I mean? So it's weird the way it's weird. It's just, it just doesn't sit right. And that finish was, At first, I thought it was an actual botch by the timekeeper, and then when I saw the replay back, and I was like, "Oh, you mean they planned this? You mean they actually that wasn't a mess up? They planned this
It was a
terrible,
botch.
terrible finish? Like, shame on you! Like, like, terrible, terrible." And the crowd hated it too.
Yeah, the crowd completely shit on it. Like, and rightfully so. Like, I mean, you can't tease Taker as a face, or you can't tease Taker as a heel, Brock being the babyface that he was naturally at that point, and then try to make Brock the heel in all of this. And I think, and I guess the only light side of it is that the finish kind of adds to Taker being kind of heel-esque, but it's still Taker. You know what I mean? Like, your casual fan is still going to be like, that's Undertaker. So, awesome. You know what I mean? Like, for us, right, for us, we see Taker as kind of the heel of this now. But for the casual who doesn't really watch everything on WWE television, it's the same song and dance as it was 24 hours ago. You know? I'm going to step off my soapbox for a sec so I can spread the love around here. Nixon, you between picks, or you want a second?
I'll say that I hated the finish at first. Like I said, I was texting Schaefer through this because my stream was freezing. It was definitely a botch on production's part. That was supposed to be on camera. There was no way, because it makes no sense, because the timekeeper can't see that spot. So it was either on camera, it was on the camera guy that fucked up, or I thought it could have been the timekeeper in that he thought the spot happened sooner than it did, but they ended up showing the replay where he did tap. So there's no way that wasn't, because everyone in the crowd, yes, it lost the crowd completely, but everyone in the crowd, when they showed that replay, had the same reaction I did, and it was like, oh, so he did tap. Then that gives it at least a little bit of legitimacy. Otherwise, I've never felt so brokenhearted with the finish, because that match was fucking a million times better than the Mania match. That was a good match. I think that in a lot of ways, that match is the match they were supposed to have at Mania, because it was a lot of the same spots. It's just better selling on both ends. The choke slam that he delivered to Lesnar. I don't know how many.
Lesnar jumped so fucking high for that.
That was amazing. The F5, catching Taker for the F5 on the table. No, he landed more on his ribs on the corner more than he was supposed to. That was so fluid. It was good. I'll go with it, man. I'm not going to be as down as I think everyone else is. I'll give it a B, because it didn't hurt Lesnar. The loss doesn't hurt him. It's bullshit the way they expected Heyman to just fix that at the end with no. Like he kind of got fucked by, because it was really weird Lesnar walking out and just being like that closing the show. He should be pissed. He should be so pissed that he just got screwed.
He should have just F5 Baby Nate. Like, he should have just F5 Baby Nate.
You could tell, though, that with that being said, that he was doing this, there were moments where you could tell that him and Heyman knew that was a shit show the way that went down. Everyone was like, that didn't go like we planned. And that's why I think it had to be a botch.
But it was on the truck. I mean, because clearly the camera was there.
True. It was a production,
It was in the truck. It wasn't anybody like in the arena. That was strictly production truck then, if that's the case.
Yeah, which I mean, again, that goes back to just being production. Period. I just know the blame had to be somewhere else because he tapped. We just didn't see it.
Yeah.
Right. Brent, how about you, buddy?
We were all same boat here on this match too. I'm with the ones that agree that this match was way better than the Mania match. My favorite spot in the match wasn't necessarily a spot, but when Lesnar sat up, did the Taker sit up, and started laughing, and then Taker looked all fucking crazy laughing.
There's gonna be memes for days with that face.
It was so good.
There's gonna be a meme. Literally, there's gonna be a meme that goes, "When your depends fails," and they're gonna have that face.
I saw one on Tumblr before we started this that was like, "Oh, when your grandma gets tired of you mocking her." And it was just Lesnar's face and then Taker's face.
See? That's it. It didn't even take 5 minutes.
Speaking, I don't know if any of y'all saw this, my Bleacher Report, I got an update here. It was 41 minutes ago. There's a video where Undertaker appears to collapse heading backstage after the match with Brock Lesnar tonight. So he collapsed again, apparently. I didn't watch the video, but
Damn.
apparently Taker collapsed. I mean, he looked gassed. He looked like he was getting the shit kicked out of him.
He
like,
looked gassed 5 minutes in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he looked gassed 5 minutes in. But he also looked gassed 5 minutes in with Wyatt, too. So, I mean, you know, but it's Taker.
Yeah.
You know, it's Taker, and Taker's as old as he is, and I just hope this is his final ride. You know what I mean?
His
I think
last
maybe-
ride?
Oh, but
I didn't want to make the pun. I didn't want to make. So on that terrible pun, Johnny, I'll let you go ahead and take the floor here. What'd you think about the match?
So hold on. First off, I want to address the match too big for WrestleMania. That bothers me. Because isn't WrestleMania supposed to be the biggest thing ever? As far as WWE mindset goes, Vince McMahon mindset goes, that's it. That's like
it's a Super Bowl of wrestling.
it doesn't get any bigger than this. You need to tell me that there's a match that SummerSlam's big enough for? Like, we can't do it at Mania, but SummerSlam, we added an extra hour so we could fit in this match. I feel that that's bad booking on their end for their own product. That
Meant to throw in Wrestle Kingdom, man.
Yeah. We kind of go into what Schaefer was saying about, their fighting styles against each other. I feel like Taker tries to wrestle as a wrestler who wants to be a fighter, and Brock wrestles as a fighter who wants to be a wrestler. And when they get in the ring together, it's kind of confusing sometimes because it looks like a wrestling match for a second, and then they're fighting during it, which is fine, but then it's like it's more of an MMA kind of fighting. And as a wrestling fan, I get kind of uncomfortable and scared, and I need an adult or something. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I need help. It's like, wait, aren't they supposed to be slamming each other? Why are they punching each other's mouths? But other than that, this is the match, that I think that they should have had at WrestleMania. Like, my biggest thing with that was I felt like going in there was no way that Taker should win. To me, Brock Lesnar, if he's the guy that beats the streak after 22 years or after 21 years, like, that's the guy that Taker should not ever be able to beat. He can try over and over again, but him and Lesnar should be like Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Undertaker. He should keep trying and trying, and Lesnar just keep beating him and beating him. He's the one guy who just can't beat.
It's funny because up until tonight, Lesnar was that guy because through his 0-2 run, he was Undertaker until tonight has never beaten Brock Lesnar.
He didn't tonight. I mean, we got to look past that. Yes, we hate the finish, man, but he tapped. That's still, he's legitimate as the guy that Taker has to cheat.
In the books,
and he tapped after a low blow.
Taker won. In the books, Taker won, and that's the shitty part about it.
Michael Cole made point to that. Like, in the books, it goes down to Taker win. Like, I mean, all of us, it's all bullshit. We know.
You guys not think it's all so we can get right off in the sunset at Mania, and I think Taker will lose his retirement match.
I think he goes out on his shield. I think he does. I don't think he wins. I think he goes out on his shield.
I think he wants to, though.
Yeah. Taker's one of those guys who gives back. If from everything I've heard, out of all the guys that used to work with him that do podcasts, Taker gives back. So he rides out on his shield. Like he is gonna lay on his shield and be carried out of that building in Dallas.
I just feel like that passing of the torch for it to go to Lesnar. I don't know. I would pick someone younger, but then again, no one else really deserves that.
That's just it. It's who.
Right, because he put together a better match on shorter time with Taker than Brock did, which
with a messed up ankle. Let's be clear.
I get that. I mean, but that finish is supposed to have some sort of merit to it. Yeah, I think we're all so pissed because it seemed like what we were confused. All of us were I was genuinely confused. And it was heartbreaking, even because I was like, "Damn, this was great." So it's where they go from here, but that means something, and then the low blow means something. He had to be a heel.
Dude, the middle finger.
Lesnar's gonna stay face just for the way he went out in that match.
Middle finger is gonna be an iconic image that they show us over and over and over again. Maybe they'll blur it out for PG, but. That was a special moment. That middle finger in the Hell's Gate to him passing out. Like
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. That's how it ended.
He straight did this and then passed out onto his side. He held the finger up until he passed
that was
out.
industry right there. That was See, that's something they're going to build on. But
But the problem
I mean,
is
I get that. I get that. It's like, I just feel like you could do better things with both guys. Like, and that's me being a mark. Like, as a wrestling fan, I completely understand they're two big draws, and it's super over, and people want to see it. I get that. I personally just don't. Like, that's just my personal thing. Like, that's fantasy booking. Split them up, get them away. I'm not saying I don't want to see any more Undertaker. I just don't want to see Undertaker with Lesnar.
Tonight, I feel like we handed the WWE our $10 for that match, our $10 a month, and they handed us back $9. Like, we got shortchanged with that match somehow. Like,
nah, you're all full of shit. I got NXT last night. That's worth my $9.99.
Hey, trust me, I had dreams about TakeOver and woke up just on a TakeOver high because it was such a good program.
All right, now we're getting a little freaky and deep into it. We're trying to keep this a PG-13 show. We dropped fuck twice. Oh, shit, that's the third time.
I didn't know that.
Never mind, rated R.
I didn't know that.
Oh, no. He's kidding. He's kidding, dude. I let F-bombs fly all the time.
yeah, they fly all the time. Like, it's a thing. So, but, overall, SummerSlam, my biggest gripe about SummerSlam tonight is that if they want to book it like a Mania event, then there needs to be resolution at this event. And it was just an entire card of continuation, with maybe the exception of Stephen Amell. Like, maybe. And I'm hoping that's the end of Sheamus and Orton. But everything else is like a solid continuation. And that's my biggest gripe. Guys, anything else y'all want to add before we wrap things up? We'll start with Nixon. Nixon, anything you want to add, bud?
No, I mean, if we're talking about things we saw online, supposedly Sting has a flight booked for New York tomorrow. So we'll see if that happens. Where does that fit in even now? Because they can't let Taker just unless there was pause there. With how do they do that? If they keep Taker current or inactive still, they have to keep Lesnar going. So I don't know if Sting is in fact coming.
End the Shield and Wyatt thing and just do Wyatt versus Sting if that's the case.
Yeah, but man, Wyatt doesn't really deserve that. Like that's mean.
He worked Taker. He can work Sting.
Really? I mean,
he
works Taker. Taker. Until that Brock match, Taker was still putting on pretty great matches.
So was Sting.
Sting hasn't worked.
Did you watch Mania 31?
Are you kidding me right now? Did you just say that Sting did a good job at Mania?
Yes,
Triple H did a good job.
At Mania.
Triple H.
Okay, wait, stop. Whoa, hold on. Nobody get on a soapbox right now.
I would like to think that Sting's next. I'm a huge fan of Sting. He was, it was him and Savage when I was a kid. Those were the things that kept me a wrestling fan. But I mean, I don't think he's bringing anything to the table. It would be, I guess, okay because it's a main event program for Bray, so I don't think any of us are going to bitch about that.
For sure. Daniel, anything you want to add on the end?
No, I mean, I just felt like super let down, man. I've been saying it since before the show, but I mean, to me, even the build up for this was Summersham. Like, it's just not. It wasn't. It was weird, and the finish was weird because they were trying to work a shoot, if that makes sense. Like they were trying to work a botch at the end, and it's just, I don't know. It was terrible, man. Like, how do you end a huge, like, your second biggest pay-per-view like that? Like, how can you possibly think that's a good idea? Like, I don't know. It just wasn't good, man. Wasn't good. Wasn't happy. But TakeOver was great. I'm hopeful for Raw tomorrow, and I will continue to beat myself up with pro wrestling because I'm a masochist.
Brent, how about you, bud? Last minute thoughts.
I'm going to climb on what Daniel said there, and my final thought is, I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited for Raw tomorrow to see where it goes. Like, that's the WWE does a really good job. No matter how shitty the 4 hours that we just spent were, we're still going to tune in tomorrow to see what happens next. And
we're going to tune in because we're creatures of habit and because we're gluttons for punishment.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some stuff to build on there.
For sure.
There's some stuff to build on there, I think.
They give you a reason to watch, whether it's good or bad. They give you a reason to watch. That's for sure. Johnny, how about you, buddy? Last minute thoughts.
Yeah, Raw tomorrow. Like, they do a really good job after, like, to get you more invested. And I think considering all the outcomes of tonight, like, Raw is going to be interesting, and it's going to answer some things.
I hope so.
Also, Facebook, The Hollywood Kills, Instagram, The Hollywood Kills, Twitter is Hollywood Kills.
Shameless plugs.
Badass band. You guys should check them out if you haven't.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, check them boys out.
Thank you guys for coming on too, by the way. All
Yeah,
three of you. Thank you so much.
Oh man, it was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely need to get all together again. Whether we can plan to get all of us at once, or maybe one at a time, or two at a time, or whatever. But we usually make plans and they fall apart.
Let's watch an event with Matthew skyping in one night. Me and Schaefer almost did a night, but I actually ended up missing half the card because I wasn't at home in time. So.
Maybe we'll do Survivor Series. We'll figure it out.
I got New Orleans internet, bro. I don't think my mainframe can handle me streaming on this and watching the network. I might die.
Fair enough.
But shitty internet aside, that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. We had Kenneth Nixon from Framing Hanley, had Hollywood Kills, Brent and Johnny, Daniel John Shaver here as always, Matthew Talon here as always. We're Mouth of the Mark. We're out. Daniel, hit him with that piece.
Peace.